Last week, per your guys' suggestion, I dove into Pinocchio, the vocaloid producer, for the very first time ever, and I absolutely loved what I was hearing from him. And not only that, to of course incorporate Miku into the story, who I really like a lot, and just the idea of almost kind of giving us a little bit more of an almost like entity towards her and a little bit of her backstory, which is really dope. So I of course want to keep diving into him. I'm not sure how many videos I'm going to dive into him because there's so many different vocaloid songs I want to get to. But this one I know is a really big one. This is, of course, God-ish. And I think now, after I was trying to figure out why the thumbnail looks so familiar, but I think I remember now. I think I reacted to Otto doing a cover of this. I'm pretty sure. So, funny enough, I might already kind of know this song, but I'm curious to see what Otto's version would sound like versus Miku's. I haven't heard Otto's version in a while, honestly, so I'm probably not even remember how it sounds. So I'm very curious overall. So this is going to be fun. I'm excited to dive into this one, decipher it, kind of find the meaning behind the song too, and yeah. So let's go and do this, guys. I'm super excited. Here we go. Nice, like church bells, very appropriate. Oh my god. That's weird. I have captions turned on, but like they're not working yet. Interesting. Okay, well, let's see. I mean, I do have some captions on. It looks like right now for the time being, so I'm just gonna pay attention to that. Spoiler for love, spoiler for life, deathish. That's so meaningful and cool. I'm guessing an ish word. Interesting. Huh. So fascinating. Okay, there's so much to this already. So if we go back here for a second. Okay, this is probably a good starting point. So, okay, bear with me. There's a lot I want to dive into here, but I'm gonna try to keep it as simple and to the point as possible. So I think that we're going beyond the idea here of, despite the fact that we see this version of Miku that is dressed in a nun outfit and whatnot, I think that we're going beyond the idea of saying God-ish, as in like God, in heaven, if you will, depending on obviously how you perceive him. I think we're going to the idea of this almost dramatized version of someone famous, or like somebody on like social media, somebody that we see as being like so popular, so like influential to the world and to somebody on social media that we almost consider them a god in a way, saying God-ish. That person is God-ish as in like they are almost praised to the level of the praise that we give to God when we, worship him and whatnot. That's almost, I think, what we're going with here. So with that in mind, we go to lyrics now saying that hair, those eyes, that mouth, that perfume, those clothes, that makeup. And if we keep going, we see, I'm so jealous, I'm so jealous. So I think this is the idea of almost like we look at the meaning of the song to say, when we say that's so God-ish, that's so, you know, as they were saying, I guess more so than anything, mostly just saying that's so God-ish. We'll just go with that. That makes it the most simplest way for me to say this. For them to keep saying that's so God-ish, it's almost like they're saying, I'm so jealous of this influential person on social media, let's say, or an actor or a singer or whoever that might be. Somebody that just seems almost like invincible, because you look at these actors, these singers, anybody along those lines, and they always look perfect. The makeup is perfect, their hair is perfect. We only see them in their perfect version of themselves, if you will. And that's what, unfortunately, a lot of people strive to be and want to be. And I think that this is kind of like he's almost in a very playful way kind of telling people, hey, why do we do this? Why do we just follow along with the trends? Why do we kind of just want to be that person so badly that is seeming like they're perfect, that they are like the, almost on the level of being like a god, if you will. But in the reality, they're just like us. They're human beings like we are. They live the same lives as us. Yes, maybe they have more money and they have like makeup artists and everybody that can make them look pretty. But as soon as they disappear behind the scenes, the makeup comes off, the hair comes off, and they go back to being just like us. They still have to eat food like us. They have to, take care of their houses. They have to maybe take care of their pets and whatnot. So it's like so interesting to see these people, or really the world, be so adamant on being like anybody they see on TV or on the internet and trying to strive to be like them rather than trying to be like themselves. This almost kind of ties back to the other song we reacted to, where, everybody was almost like wanting to kind of be the next Miku. In this case, too, now we're kind of relating it more to what we see on like social media, on TV, with actors, actresses, singers, and so on and so forth. And what's also really cool is the visual here. If we actually look at the visual here of this version of Miku, we kind of have the idea of like, oh, she's kind of dressed like a nun, but then you see the outfit. The outfit is that of like a Japanese anime, very trendy. The idea of the piercing, super trendy. The smoking a cigarette, that's, can be almost considered very trendy. The fact that you like see her eyes and that she almost looks dead inside, it's like that can almost represent the idea of doom scrolling, if you want to call it that, where you're just on social media and just scrolling for days to the point where you almost look like you haven't slept in forever. Like the amount of times that I can tell you, me myself, I have gotten sucked into just scrolling for hours and hours and hours, just looking at just stupid shit probably that I don't even need to be wasting my time with. I think that's also kind of what we're getting with this visual. So it's like this almost represents the visual representation of somebody who's just dedicated their life to just everything on social media is what they're all about. They want to be all about all the trends. They want to make sure that they are doing everything they can to be anybody but themselves. And that's not a good thing to do. We need to be true to who we are. We need to find our own hobbies. We need to find out who we are as a person and be our own good example, Or be our own good example being a good example for little brothers and sisters. Being a good example for your friends. Being a good example for your coworkers. Like, I don't think that it's good for us to waste our lives trying to pretend to be somebody we're not and getting sucked in to the trends of the world and whatnot. Because, like, yes, some of the trends are fun and some of them are for good causes. Like, I remember, like, years ago, we had the ice bath challenge that was supporting the one medical condition. I can't remember which one it was. But that was a good trend for us to all do because it was supporting something good. But sometimes I see these, like, trends that, like, couples are doing and I'm like, okay, like, cool. Why'd you do that? You know, or really not even just couples. Sometimes just regular creators, content creators do it. So yeah, I think that's another great meaning for this song, to be able to say like, hey, stop looking at these people like they're gods, because they're not. Start looking at yourself and what you can do to be yourself in every possible way, if you will. Super cool. I love Pinocchio to death. PinocchioP, sorry, because he really does such a great job of almost taking real world meaningful things that we can all relate to and bringing them to life and teaching us something out of it. So cool. Ooh, interesting. Pretending to be God by denying God. That takes it to a whole different meaning there almost. Because now you're saying essentially you're pretending to be somebody who's not God, and it's causing you to deny who you really should be looking up to, and that is the Almighty God. I mean, I hate to tie. I don't want to tie religion to this, but in a way, that's kind of what it seems like he might be saying. That's really cool. The structure of this song is so fascinating. That's crazy. So now we're saying the idea of saying, oh, hang on. Oh, I didn't want me to do that. Hang on. Your mind, it's tiny. Almost like the idea of brain rot, where the more that you're giving into these trends, the more you're wasting your life away on social media. You're almost dishonoring and disowning your own brain by making your mind almost tinier and tinier because of all the brain rot you're seeing and whatnot. And then going into it more, lonely because of your genius. You're lonely because all you do is just spend your time trying to live your life in terms of trends and these, influencers will say, rather than going out, making your own friends, being sociable and whatnot, outside of what's on a screen in front of your face. Very cool, interesting. What I do like about this too is if you go back a little bit here and you listen closely, if we kind of switch our mind from the lyrics, if you will, to her and her singing, if you listen closely in the background, you actually can hear almost like a male vocal behind hers as almost like a subtle backing vocal. I don't know if that's maybe like if he's kind of using a deeper vocaled version of her like vocal synth or her vocal bank or whatever you want to call it, to make that in a way as a subtle background, or what that might be. I don't know, but it's really cool because it kind of adds an extra layer to her vocal that gives it a little bit more depthness, if you will, to it. That's really cool actually. So if you listen here, right there, especially the da-da-da-na-na-na, right there, you can really hear his voice come in for a second. So cool. Ooh, what was that? I want to read that for a second here. What did that one say? Oh, we saw it before. Just kidding. Sorry. That was so cool. That was very, very actually sick as hell. I'm not gonna lie. What I love about this, honestly, is that we kind of see that tying into what we saw already with, what was it called? The one I just reacted to. Oh my gosh, I'm like blanking so hard. It was obviously the song I was reacting to from PinocchioP. I don't know why I can't think of what the hell it's called right now. But anyways, I love that we kind of see that tying in to that message of that song to this one in a way too. Not directly, of course, but we kind of see that relation in terms of like he seems to have this. It's almost like he's kind of using Miku in some ways as a way to say, this is the person that you supposedly praise, this is the person you supposedly look up to, but why don't you give that same praise to yourself in a way? And so it's kind of funny also that we look at Miku as this real life person, this real character, if you will, that exists. But in the grand scheme of things, she's just a voice bank. She's not even real. And it's so funny to see that she would almost be the type of person to represent, like he said, like he's saying in the song, the idea of an influencer, a trend or whatnot that people get attached to and build their lives around, basically. She's almost kind of that thing too. And so what I love about this is it's like it has a great message behind it saying, hey, stop trying to be like these people. Stop following with the trends and just live your life. Start giving into the brain rot, if you will, as we call it these days, and just live your life. Go outside, touch grass, go make some friends, go hang out at a party, go to the club and meet some people, go to a coffee bar or something. I don't know, whatever the case may be and whatnot. But it's also kind of funny because as much as that seems to be the main message, it's almost kind of like a nice little gentle slap in the face, like, hey, stop it. Go away. Stop it. Don't do that. Like, why are you being like this? Like, it's like a gentle slap in the face to those who do this, that just follow trends and whatnot. So it's almost like he's saying in a very polite way, hey, I'm making fun of you for being like this, but also at the same time, I'm more so just pointing it out so you can realize it and hopefully go change your ways and go actually live your own life rather than trying to make it based off of trends and what you see on social media and on TV and on YouTube, all that fun stuff. So yeah. But like, I really love that he incorporates everything all together. You see the incorporation of what he's trying to say from the song in this version of Miku we see with the nun outfit, but also the, Japanese anime, school outfit and whatnot. The smoking tying in with the lip ring and like these glazed over eyes that have been obviously social media scrolling for too long. So you have that incorporation with that the lyrics also. And what's cool though is at first glance, you're going to look at these lyrics and you're going to be like, how on earth does this even remotely mean that in general? But it's all about not certain. You don't have to really necessarily look at the whole entire picture per se. You just look at what really, in a way, matters. You look at just those few little senses, like what you saw that I picked out. You saw that I picked out that piece of your hair, the eyes, the makeup, the whatever that one like little lyric was. I picked up on that and saw the idea of like God-ish, and I thought, okay, well, if we go beyond the idea of a god, okay, who do we sometimes associate, with gods? Oh, sometimes we say, if we look at beyond just, God as in like the, ultimate God of the heavens or whatnot. Oh, sometimes we see people saying like, oh, that person is a god, because that's kind of like they think that that's the highest praise they can give that person. So that's where I took that incorporation. I said, oh, okay, they're looking at somebody beyond just, actual God himself. They're looking at somebody, the picture of, oh, somebody that is like, an actor or an actress or somebody like that who we really praise and might look up to. And that's where I got that corporation from. And then I could obviously build upon it from there, because obviously I already told you I'm not going to repeat myself. So that's where I kind of piece. That's how I pick it apart. So you might think that like sometimes these songs that we listen to are so hard to pick apart and figure out a meaning, but if you just take that one certain piece, sometimes that one piece you need is enough to basically get that interpretation you need. So yeah, once again, PinocchioP has nailed it and knocked it out of the park. And I know there's definitely a lot more vocaloid songs that I'm gonna need to dive into for sure. So I might not be reacting to PinocchioP again right off the bat, but I will keep incorporating his stuff for sure. And maybe, like I said, I might take time at some point to maybe dive into, like 4 of his songs all in one video or something like that. And we can just do that and maybe have like a nice little like 30-minute session where I, do a very quick, breakdown of all 4 songs together or whatnot. Something like that. We'll see. We'll play by ear. But yeah, honestly, love this. This was so fun. This is so sick. I love just picking his piece. I love picking his songs apart and figuring out what their meaning is and whatnot, and tying the lyrics into that meaning and whatnot into real life also. It's so fun. So yeah. But anyways, guys, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel by clicking down below, and I'll go ahead and play Smash playlist for all the vocaloid songs I've dove into over here, and check my recent reaction already over here. As always, thank y'all so much for watching, showing the support, and I'll see you all in the next video. Alright guys, bye!